Hello everyone and welcome, this is Ebefar. Today I'm going to be revealing to you the equation for damage taken. I will not be going through incoming damage or defensive stance today. I will first start by explaining how you can test it yourself, then I will go through the two theories behind testing it. I will then give you the defense equation as of the current patch that I'm currently making the video, and then I will speak about diminishing returns on armor, and then also how defensive stance can play a factor. So how do I test it? You will need to have control variables, as damage taken is slightly RNG, but it can be controlled using the same weapon and character positions alongside using a robot like Tiny Task to swing for us. If you were to use a human for this, it would completely invalidate all of the testing. For defense, defensive values, defensive stance and outgoing damage, you must use a robot. The testers must be stationary and all character skills and stats must be the same, and there must be no factors that can skew our results. A few hits are not enough because the margin of error would be way too large to even justify any result. The damage values are then averaged and recorded, and then the damage taken whilst naked allows us to get a baseline damage and proving our equation and theories with actual results. So there are two common theories behind damage calculations in armor stats. One of them is percentage values and the other one is a flat reduction per point of armor. Players have been fighting over this for a very long time, and we can easily prove it simply by plotting the theoretical graph, testing the real numbers in the game, being naked versus different armor values, and then plotting the actual numbers on a graph against theoretical numbers and seeing which graph it matches better. So, testing the actual in-game damage on this, we get the following values. These values actually perfectly match the theoretical model for a percentage reduction in armor, and as you can see from our results, they are extremely accurate, being right in the R-squared value of over 99%, so they don't vary very much in the values that I actually tested here, and it perfectly lines up with the theoretical percentage values in armor. Some people believe that reduction is flat because they don't factor in defensive stance. Defensive stance does actually give you a curve in damage reduction, however not the actual defense stat itself. I will go through defensive stance in another video. Here is the equation for damage taken including defensive stance in relation to armor stats. This equation is much more complex than what I'm showing you here, however this is a simplified version with a tiny little bit of algebra to make it more understandable for the general population. These are the most important things you need to know when looking at your defense stat on your armor. Masteries and trinkets only reduce the relevant portion of its defense value from the final damage after defensive stance. It is a flat reduction, and this also counts for weapon damage, weapon defense, etc. Some clades like Augmiers have inherent bonuses to their defensive stance. All bonuses must be included separately in this equation. I will not go through these in this video, otherwise it would be a 24-hour long video showing just raw test footage of everything in the game. So, diminishing returns. There are diminishing returns to defense percentage on the heavier armor sets. However, this does not largely affect the PvP balance or choice of armor, as armor is usually selected on its bespoke defense values according to its class. For example, mages may want high pierce resistance armor, as scales already have high blunt, and mages are prone to dagger, spear and arrow attacks, being the highest DPS attacks in the game. Also, remember that defensive stance is exponentially better with higher defense armors, which makes those much better once you have certain skills or character stats. See my defensive stance video to learn more about this, as it makes certain armor values much greater for certain players. Alright, that is everything. A short and snappy video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any other questions for me, please leave it in the comment section. If you like this kind of content and want to see more, please like and subscribe. Huge thank you to Amalgam for helping me test in this video and helping to add to the theory behind this. Have a wonderful day. Ebefar out.